Hello, one of the most interesting factors about the internet has to be the number of people that will watch any particular clip. 10 to 15 years ago, the idea of being able to record material and it being watched by people in hundreds of different countries would be seeming to be rather strange. If you've ever looked at the viewing figures for a site, you might be amazed how many people actually look at a website. Why am I raising that thought process with you? Well, one of the things that really has crossed my mind is that I could be talking to you from a place called Lincoln in the UK, and you can actually be anywhere in the world, and we'll never possibly even meet, never have any contact. We all live in different cultures and different environments, and there are some people out there that have never actually been on the internet. There are some people who have never been out to their own hometowns and have no concept of the environment and the culture that you live in. We tend to use our hearing and our sight on the internet. We tend to be able to type in and search for videos from any part of the world. Indeed, we can look at and zoom in on the satellite images. If you are catching a plane and you're just coming into landing, you often see the towns as dots as you approach the city, and gradually those areas come bigger and bigger and bigger, to the point that just before landing, not only do you become aware of the speed that you're travelling in, but also you become aware of the streets and the fact that you're looking down on people who have no concept of who's in that plane. If you've ever looked up into the sky and seen a plane flying over, you may have wondered, what sort of people are in that plane? What are they doing? Are they going on holiday? Are they on a business trip? And if you've ever been to an airport and you've just watched people coming on board, there are some people who will treat that flight going to another country as just totally normal, whereas there are some people who are actually taking a very, very big step. I've never been to America, I've never had the opportunity, but I've seen lots of films and programs from the United States. Each one portrays the USA in a totally different way. Different programs will show us different aspects. I think I was looking once at CSI Miami on one instance, and I noticed how all the sunsets, all the daytime looked like it was a sunset. And yet other programs will make New York look cold, others will make it look warm. It really depends. So I just wanted to share that thought with you, that people may never ever have seen or sensed what it's like living in your area, speaking your language, and yet they're able to watch you, talk to you, or communicate with you through the internet. There are so many cultures that have so many similar issues and so many different challenges. Some cultures are 24 hours, whereas other cultures shut down at a certain time. There's a certain place in Scotland where they've just had a ferry introduced in the outer parts of Scotland on a Sunday, and it was quite a shock to the whole environment. Whereas if you're living in one of the main cities of the world, you'll find there's a 24/7 environment, people working shifts on a day-to-day basis. Many of those people on the lower incomes may never ever travel further afield than those cities. A lot of people in the UK, for example, who live in cities, see the highlight of their holiday as going to the coast, and are brought up with this whole concept of going to the beach as the holiday. Some teenagers in the UK see the highlight of their holiday as maybe flying to the Mediterranean for their holidays, whereas you in your area may find that your idea of holiday is totally different. As we each have our own particular cultures and own environments, isn't it marvellous how we're able, through the use of the internet, to be able to communicate, to talk, to share the experiences of our own environments with each other? Okay, we can only go by the sound and the viewing that the camera may take for us. We're not often in a position of being able to turn the camera around from a few hundred or thousand miles away to view different aspects of it, but one day maybe we'll be able to do all those sort of things that we can't do now. We may also be able to smell and feel the heat or the cold of those places as technology changes. Broadband wasn't around 15 years ago. In fact, the internet was still on dial-up, and I can well remember the sound of those computers dialing up, connecting on just to pick up the email. It was an experience in itself. I just really want to share with you that one day I'm hoping to fly to the States, maybe have the opportunity of landing in New York, and maybe just experiencing some of the different aspects of the States, not just those popular areas, but those areas that maybe people don't encounter on a day-to-day basis, the places where the tourists don't get to. In London there are loads and loads of places where the tourists know, but the more residential areas and the slightly further out areas, the tourists don't get to know. They're not the highlight, but there is maybe the cultural issue. In those hidden places you get to know what the Cockneys are really like, or the West End people are really like in London, and the North and the South London divides, and what differences there are there. And it's not just in London, it's in Leeds and it's in Nottingham. People proud of their own areas. Realistically, we all live in our own small world. Some of us will venture out further afield, and some of us have more opportunities to travel further afield. But those on lower incomes often struggle to do this. They often don't get to see as much of the world as maybe others. People in the business world probably travel a lot more and get those passports well used. They may be just coming in and out of the airports without even thinking about the environment they're coming in and out of, and the experience of their fellow travellers. It's a very strange world out there, and I guess that's just one of those things I wanted to share with you today. The strange world of the fact that I'm sat here in the corner of a room recording this video, and I may well do another one similar to this on a different channel, and just to really see who's watching and what's going on out there in the world. Bye.